It started like any other love story. Emma believed she had found her forever in Jacob. A successful financial consultant, Jacob was charming, generous, and always seemed to have everything under control. Their wedding was picture perfect, the honeymoon even better. But beneath the surface, behind the shared smiles and curated Instagram posts, something darker was waiting to be revealed. Welcome to a story filled with twists, secrets, and shocking revelations that shook not just a marriage, but an entire community. This isn't just a divorce, it's a discovery, it's a lesson, it's a reminder that even those we think we know best can be living an entirely different life behind closed doors. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable real-life courtroom dramas like this one. We post new, gripping stories every single day. Don't miss the next one. Now let's go back to the beginning. Emma first met Jacob at a corporate networking event. He swept her off her feet with stories of high-stakes deals, a jet-setting lifestyle, and a magnetic confidence that made everyone around him take notice. Within months, they were living together, and within a year, they were married. For the first few years, things seemed normal. Jacob traveled often for work. Emma, a schoolteacher, focused on building their home. But slowly, small cracks began to form. Receipts from unfamiliar cities, vague explanations about business trips, and the way Jacob would flinch when Emma asked too many questions. Emma chalked it up to stress. After all, relationships require trust, and Jacob had never given her a real reason to doubt him. Until one day, she received a strange phone call. A woman claiming to be Jacob's business partner was asking for him. Her tone was casual, but something felt off. The name wasn't one Emma recognized. When she asked Jacob about it later, he dismissed it quickly, too quickly. From that moment on, Emma started paying closer attention. She checked their shared bank account and noticed large withdrawals, trips to cities Jacob never mentioned, hotel stays under aliases. She confronted him, but Jacob gaslighted her, calling her paranoid, insecure, and ungrateful. But Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. One evening, while Jacob was away on another business trip, she found a second phone hidden in his home office drawer. It was locked, but the wallpaper was a picture of a woman she didn't recognize, posing with Jacob. Emma's world stopped. She knew she couldn't confront him without proof, so she began gathering everything: bank statements, screenshots, call logs. She even hired a private investigator. What the PI uncovered made her sick to her stomach. Jacob had a second apartment in another city, and a second life. He had been in a long-term relationship with another woman, claiming to be single and living alone. Worse, they had a child together. When Emma filed for divorce, she didn't just serve papers. She blew up the perfect image Jacob had worked so hard to protect. And as the courtroom drama unfolded, the real story behind Jacob's double life started to come to light. The courtroom was packed. Whispers filled the gallery as Emma walked in, with her legal team, calm but visibly shaken. Jacob followed shortly after, his confident air noticeably missing. The press had caught wind of the story. A respected financial advisor living a double life, the headlines read, and the world wanted answers. Emma's attorney began by presenting the evidence: financial documents showing Jacob's secret apartment, credit card statements with luxury purchases Emma never received, and photos from the private investigator. Then came the most shocking piece: birth certificates showing Jacob had fathered a child with another woman during his marriage to Emma. Jacob's defense was weak at best. His lawyers tried to paint the situation as a complicated misunderstanding. He claimed he was trying to protect Emma from a past mistake, but the evidence was undeniable. And worse, when the woman from his second life was subpoenaed, she confirmed under oath that Jacob had promised her he was divorced long ago. The courtroom gasped. Emma sat quietly, her expression unreadable. But inside she felt a whirlwind of emotions: anger, heartbreak, betrayal, but most of all, a strange sense of relief. The lies were no longer hidden. The man she once thought was her soulmate was finally exposed for who he truly was. As the trial progressed, more secrets surfaced. Jacob had falsified business records, hidden income, and even taken out a loan under Emma's name. His double life wasn't just personal, it was financial fraud. Emma's legal team demanded full transparency. Forensic accountants were brought in. They uncovered a web of deceit so complex that Jacob now faced not just divorce, but potential criminal charges. The media swarmed the case. Every day, more people showed up to watch the drama unfold. Emma, once a quiet schoolteacher, became a symbol of strength and truth. Her calm, composed presence in court made headlines: the wife who took down the lie. Behind the scenes, Emma struggled. The betrayal cut deep. Every memory with Jacob now felt like a staged performance. She questioned her judgment, her instincts, and even her self-worth. But as her attorney reminded her, this wasn't just about heartbreak, it was about justice. And justice was finally catching up with Jacob. The judge ordered an immediate freeze on all of Jacob's accounts. Emma was awarded full access to the marital property, and an investigation was launched into Jacob's business dealings. Emma didn't smile. Not yet. Because while the courtroom was finally catching up to Jacob, the emotional toll still weighed heavy. Outside the courthouse, reporters shouted questions. 3. As the trial moved into its final week, the focus shifted from revelation to resolution. Emma, still maintaining her quiet strength, prepared to take the stand. She wasn't just there to recount the lies Jacob had told, she was there to reclaim her voice, her identity, and her dignity. When asked to describe the moment she first suspected something was wrong, Emma spoke clearly. It wasn't just the receipts or the long nights. It was the feeling that I didn't know the man sleeping next to me, that I wasn't safe in my own home. Not physically, but emotionally. The courtroom was silent. She continued, explaining how Jacob manipulated not just her heart, but her future. He made her feel small, dependent, unsure of herself. He used charm and control in equal measure, and through it all, she remained loyal, until she couldn't anymore. Then came the testimony of the other woman, Clara. Clara sat nervously, fidgeting, as she described her relationship with Jacob, how he told her he was divorced, how he promised a future together, how she raised their child, believing they were building a family. She had no idea he was still married. The judge listened carefully, taking notes, asking questions that revealed the extent of the deception. Jacob had constructed 2 separate lives, 2 homes, 2 families, 2 financial systems, all balanced on a tower of lies. When Jacob was called to the stand, his demeanor had changed. The arrogance was gone. He appeared tired, aged by the weight of his own secrets. Under oath, his story unraveled. He tried to justify, to explain, to claim that everything he did was for the family. But the damage was done. The forensic evidence was overwhelming. He had siphoned money from shared accounts, lied on tax filings, and used shell companies to hide assets. What started as a divorce had now become a case of financial crime. Emma's attorney pressed hard during cross-examination, laying out the timeline of deceit like dominoes falling one by one. Jacob had no answers, only apologies, which rang hollow in a room filled with betrayal. Outside the courthouse, public opinion shifted dramatically. Emma was seen not as a victim, but as a survivor. Her story resonated with millions, especially women, who had been silenced in their own relationships. Emma received letters, emails, and messages from strangers thanking her for her courage. She was offered speaking engagements, book deals, interviews, but she remained focused on the trial. This wasn't about fame. It was about closure. Meanwhile, Jacob faced mounting legal troubles. Investigators uncovered even more discrepancies in his financial history. Former business partners stepped forward, claiming he had defrauded them too. His empire was collapsing. The judge called for a final hearing to determine the division of assets and any potential criminal referrals. Emma showed up in a simple outfit, no makeup, no flash, just grace. She sat tall, not with pride, but with peace. The final day in court felt less like a trial and more like a reckoning. Emma sat quietly, watching as Jacob entered the courtroom. He looked like a man defeated, not just by the system, but by the weight of his own choices. His double life, once so meticulously hidden, had unraveled completely. The judge began the proceedings with a firm tone. What we have witnessed in this courtroom is not simply the dissolution of a marriage. It is the unmasking of a pattern of dishonesty and financial abuse that has harmed multiple lives. He continued by outlining the court's decision. The prenuptial agreement voided. The hidden assets seized and redistributed. The shared properties split equitably, with Emma receiving full ownership of the primary residence and majority rights over joint investments. Jacob was fined and ordered to repay back taxes. Worse, a referral was made to the state attorney's office for criminal investigation into his fraudulent business practices. His accounts were frozen, his reputation shattered. Emma listened, her hands folded, a quiet expression of relief on her face. She hadn't come for vengeance. She came for truth. And she got it. As court adjourned, the room filled with movement. Reporters rushed to the front. Cameras flashed, but Emma slipped out a side door, away from the noise. She didn't want the spotlight. She just wanted her life back. In the days that followed, her life changed, but in a way she never expected. She didn't just become known. She became a symbol. Her story sparked conversations about financial transparency in relationships, emotional manipulation, and the silent toll of living with secrets. People began rethinking what trust really means in marriage. Even lawmakers began debating reforms in family law. Emma launched a podcast, Uncovered, where she shared not only her journey, but the stories of others who faced betrayal and came out stronger. It wasn't about reliving pain. It was about building resilience. And Rachel, her attorney, stood by her side, now a leading voice in financial rights within marriage. Together, they built a platform that helped women across the country navigate the difficult and often overwhelming world of divorce, prenups, and legal empowerment. As for Jacob, his fall from grace continued. His business ventures failed. He was indicted for fraud. His name disappeared from headlines, replaced by stories of others rising through truth, not lies. In one of her final public statements on the case, Emma said, "I thought my life was falling apart, but in reality, it was being rebuilt, stronger, wiser, braver, and that's exactly how